Right, hello there. Welcome to my Let's Learn the Track series on iRacing. This season, we're going to be covering the BMW 12.0 series, which is kindly sponsored by simrigs.com. So please check out their website in the video description. Now, videos will be published weekly to coincide with the track changeover, and the intention of this series is to help you gain back that lost time. So this isn't a place for hot laps, this is a slow, methodical approach to learn the track, showing you my braking markers and my reference points. And as always, please let me know in the comments if this helps and you've managed to gain any time. Thanks for watching. Welcome everybody to this week's Let's Learn the Track from the beautiful Brands Hatch circuit. We're in the BMW M8 in the 12.0 series. This series is sponsored by simrigs.com. Please have a look in the video description at their website. Now, Brands Hatch, gorgeous circuit. I love Brands Hatch. Really, really difficult place to overtake. There's some sections here where if you are brave enough, you can gain quite a bit of time. I'll put the weather on screen now. We are using iRacing default weather. We are using the baseline setup in the BMW. The only thing I'm going to change is the brake bias. I'm going to put that down to around about 51%. Seems to work best around here in the BMW. Usual Let's Learn the Track stuff. We're going to do a couple of slow laps. I'll show you my braking markers, reference points. Then we'll slowly pick up the pace so you can see those in action. So this isn't a place for hot laps. The braking markers and reference points are going to be quite conservative, so they are doable. If you feel a bit braver and if you feel that you can pick up the pace a little bit, feel free. You can brake a little bit later than what I'm pointing out here. But anyway, enough talking. Let's get out on track. Here we are then on pit lane in the BMW. I'll put the weather on screen now. I can't remember what it was actually, but it should be displayed on screen now. There's not a lot to worry about as you exit pit road here at Brands Hatch. The only thing you need to keep an eye on is your relative box, which is that one in the bottom corner now. That's F3 on your keyboard by default. So we'll just, my brake bias 51.1, that will do. Get it back on the relative. That's the one that you want to have on really when you're racing. So pit exit, Brands Hatch. Not a lot to worry about really until you get to the end of pit lane here. And here is pretty much on the racing line for people coming into turn one, especially if they're too wide. So if you do need to pit at Brands Hatch, if you've got damage and you come in for a fast repair or you've got a penalty, just bear that in mind when you exit. So we'll talk about turn one when we come around next time by. So then we're going to have the run up the hill to this hairpin here. Now the braking distances here are a little bit shorter because we are going uphill. Now what I use as my reference point is the end of this AstroTurf here. There's a worn piece of grass there. That's generally what I use. So you can brake in between there and the gantry, but if you use that as your braking marker, then you should get it stopped every time, no problem. So then we're going to be braking hard down into first gear. We're going to be aiming for this, the apex on the inside. Nice tight line around this hairpin if you can. And then as soon as you see the exit, we're going to be accelerating all the way up into third gear for this next left. Moving the car over to the right hand side. Now my braking marker here is, I'll use my mouse cursor. You can see this wire mesh underneath the grass there. That's what I use. You can use that, but I generally don't like to because it is slippy. So just bear that in mind. If you are going to use it, be very careful. So that's what I use as my braking marker. Then we're down into second gear and then hitting this inside curb. Well, not literally because it is quite a steep curb, this one. Doesn't seem it there, but when you've got a bit of speed, then that can unsettle the car. So clipping that inside apex, then we're going to run the car right out wide onto this mesh on the outside of this turn. You can use all of this, but just get it back on before the grass there, because you will get off track if you don't. So we're going to accelerate up here, third gear, and then we're going to be using the 50 board as our reference point. So that will go out of view, or you might just see it in your peripheral vision. So then just after that we're going to be braking in a straight line and we're going to be trail braking all the way around, light pressure on the brakes, being very, very patient because we want to apex this quite late and then accelerate, because whatever speed we carry out of this turn, we're going to carry all the way down this straight. Be very careful on exit, the car will get a little bit loose, so just bear that in mind. So you might need to be a little bit progressive with the throttle. So we're going to accelerate all the way down the dip, up to this next section, which is probably my favourite section on the whole circuit, these 3 right hand turns. If you're brave enough, this is where you are going to gain the most time around these 3 turns here. There's not a great deal of overtaking opportunities around them, but it will enable you to put the pressure on somebody if they're in front, or pull away if somebody's pushing you from behind. So what I use here for my braking marker is the 50 board. So we're going to be in 5th gear, so just before the 50 we're going to be braking down into 4th gear, and we're going to be trail braking all the way to the apex. We're going to apex this one quite late, trail brake to the apex. As soon as we hit the apex, when your tyres are up to temperature, you can get on the gas. The car might get a little bit loose, but you've got a bit of downforce at this point, so you're not too bad. And then up to this next right, which is equally as sketchy. This one, we're going to be using the 50 as our reference point. So just before there, you can see the red barrier on the left hand side. So just before the 50, we're going to be braking, and we're going to be trail braking again and using a bit of this inside curb there, because you can see that has got the wire mesh as well. So wherever you see the wire mesh, it's fair game. And the same on exit, there's wire mesh there. And we're going to be trail braking to the apex, then we're going to be accelerating, but then as soon as we accelerate onto this mesh, we're going to be on a nice neutral throttle, just balancing the car and just getting it around there, still accelerating, but not as much as you possibly could do if you weren't on the wire mesh. This is a little bit slippy. Then get it back on the road surface before this grass here. So then accelerate down the dip up to this next right. Again, sketchy corner, this one's blind. So braking marker, we've got the 50 board there, can you see it? There, so that's what we're using as our reference points. We're going to be braking. The entrance to this one is blind, so you're turning in before you can actually see this one. Again, clip this one, you can get away with quite a bit there actually, but you've got to keep turning right as you go around this turn, because the corner keeps on going. After the apex, the corner continues, so dead easy to run wide and get a couple of wheels on that grass, and then it's curtains. Then you want the car back over to the right hand side, and we're going to be braking at the 50 board. We're going to be down into 2nd gear, and we're going to be holding a really, really nice tight line around here, because as soon as we're on this curb, as soon as we're on the apex, we want to be hitting the gas as soon as we possibly can, because if you don't, then that'll just open things up for somebody to have a go into the final turn. So braking marker here is just before the 50. We're going to be braking down into 3rd gear. We're going to be trail braking all the way to the apex. As soon as we get to the apex, we're going to be accelerating. The car may get a little bit loose, but it's okay. Just bear in mind you don't put a couple of wheels on the grass there, because that'll send you off. With the new tyre model, as soon as you get any wheels on the grass or the gravel, it's curtains. So braking marker here, over the crest, the 100 board, that's what I use as my braking marker. So we're in 5th gear at this point. We're going to be going all the way down into 3rd gear and looking for this access road on the left hand side. You can see the green painted bit of track there. That's going to be our turning point. As close to that as you possibly can. We're going to be trail braking to the apex. As soon as you get to the apex, we're going to be on the gas. The car will go down the dip. The suspension will load. There's a lot more grip here than you think. You can use this AstroTurf on the left, and then we're back up to this hairpin right. So braking just at this dirty part of road surface there, or just after if you're good on the brakes, and aiming for this inside curb. Hold a nice tight line all the way around. As soon as you see the exit, we're going to be accelerating down, move the car over to the right, so just before the mesh on the right, sorry, we're going to be braking, clip that inside curb, use all of this on exit, then down to this left hand turn. So braking at the 50 in a straight line, 2nd gear, trail braking, being patient, late apex, and then on the gas for the run down the long straight down to the fast right hand turn, where we're going to be braking at the 50 down into 4th gear. So tyres aren't up to temperature, so we're going to be trail braking all the way to the apex, then accelerate. Here just before the 50 we're going to be braking down into 3rd gear, clipping that inside curb, nice neutral throttle just while we're on the mesh, then accelerate down the hill, then back up again. Before the 50 we're going to be braking again, cutting that inside curb, over to the right hand side, braking at the 50, down into 2nd gear, nice and tight round there, and then all the way up to the final turn. So braking just before the 50, we're going to be down into 3rd gear. As soon as we're on the apex we're going to be accelerating, car over to the right hand side to make the circuit as short as possible. Then we're going to be braking at the 100, so down into 3rd gear, trail braking all the way to the apex. As soon as you're on that apex, accelerate, use all of this on exit. So braking just at the 50 board there, or just before, nice and tight. Move the car over to the right, just after the 50 we're going to be braking down into 2nd gear, clip that inside curb, use all of that on exit. So just after the 50 braking down into 2nd gear, late apex, and then once you get on the gas you can hold it all the way down. So we'll do this lap, and then we'll pick up the pace a little bit after this lap. So we're braking at the 50, trail braking all the way to the apex, get on the gas. So just before the 50 we're going to be braking, clip that inside curb, use the mesh on the exit, car's a little bit loose there. So just before the 50, early turn in before you see it. So braking at the 50, we're going to be down into 2nd gear. As soon as we're on the apex, accelerating. Move the car over to the left, braking it just before the 50, down into 3rd gear, trail braking to the apex. As soon as you're on the apex, get on the accelerator, use the power of the car just to help the car rotate. Right, we'll try and pick up the pace a little bit now. So braking at the 100. Missed that apex there completely. We're braking just before the 50. Nice and tight round here. Tyres still aren't up to temperature. Maybe going to take another lap or two before we do get them up to speed. But this should be a little bit quicker, so braking just after the 50, down into 2nd gear, late apex, get on the gas, then you can hold it all the way up and down this straight. So braking at the 50, down into 4th gear, we're going to be trail braking all the way to the apex, then get on the gas. So just before the 50 brake, cut this inside curb, use all of that on exit. Same with this one, we're going to be braking and turning in before we actually see the turn. Keep a bit of right hand down turn in there, so down into 2nd gear, nice and tight. Get on the gas before the apex. A little bit sloppy that one, but a little bit quicker. So just before the 50, down into the 3rd gear. Get on the gas. Right, we'll do one more lap, hopefully we can improve. I was a little bit ragged on that one, so we're braking at the 100. Turning in nice and early this time. That's a little bit better. We're braking just before the 50. Nice and tight all the way around here, much better that time. So just after the 50 we're going to be braking. Use all of the track on exit. Just get back on before the grass. So just after the 50, down into 2nd gear, being nice and patient. I was a little bit impatient there actually, but we're still 3/10 up. Braking at the 50, down to 4th gear, trail braking. Get on the gas as early as you can. There we go. So just before the 50, being brave round here will gain you quite a bit of time, but it can also kill you if you're not careful. So at the 50 we're going to be braking nice and tight round there. Get on the gas before the apex if you possibly can. So just before the 50 braking, down to 3rd gear, on the gas, that's it, just kept it on the track there. And there we go, that's Brands Hatch. So 1:21.95, so there's still a bit of time left on the track there. We aren't braking as late as we possibly could, but if you just stick to those braking markers that I mentioned on the first couple of slow laps, then you should be good to go. It's going to be quite a good week, this one, I think. I've got a good feeling about it. I do like Brands. The M8 and Brands Hatch is a very, very good combination indeed. But it's the BMW 12.0 series, so you've got to have your wits about you because it is carnage. So there we go. I hope that helps you. If it does, please let me know in the comments. If you've used any of my advice and if you've gained any time, please let me know. Let me know how you get on this week. If you've had a win, please let me know in the comments. There we go. So that's week 2 done. Good luck, everybody. Hope to see you on track. Have a good week. I'll see you later. Cheers.